Okay guys, so we need to help Cinderella get to the ball by making her pumpkin carriage. So here I have like a fake pumpkin. What I want you guys to focus on is this has the evidence of linear perspective on it that we've been talking about in some of our drawings and paintings lately. So it's kind of harder to see on here because this isn't like a rectangular prism or a cube. This is curved. So if I look at it, these lines that curve, they touch at the top here and they curve around the bottom. So they actually sort of wrap around the pumpkin and make it look 3D, which it actually is. So if we can do those lines, we can make ours look more 3D. So what we've got to do is kind of have a setting for the story happening. So we should do a horizon line. And if we're going to do the pumpkin carriage, if we put the horizon line down too low, we don't really have room to put it in here. So we're going to want to put it a little higher. And we can have like some hills and mountains and stuff in the background that can all be happening, trees and things in the landscape. Those things you don't really need me to show you how to do. What I want to focus on is the actual pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine if I'm looking at a pumpkin, like these lines actually look like they're curved. These two lines look a little bit more straight, but they do get closer at the top here and at the bottom. So I'm just going to focus on that one section there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine the pumpkin carriage here. I'm not going to draw it too small. So I would draw that shape that we just talked about focusing on. Later we'll have a stem up here to show that this started out as a pumpkin. But now what we need to do is focus on the lines that go off to the side of that middle section that's pointed at us. So we've done a line here and here for this oval looking shape that we have. But now we need to do the ones that go off to the side. Now the nice thing is they actually touch the ones at the top, so we don't have to guess where to put them. If we start them at the top, they're going to join at the top, and they also curve around and they join at the bottom. So that's going to happen on this side and on this side. Everything meets at the stem, but then it curves around and joins at the bottom in the middle here. So what I'm going to do is go up to where the stem would be, curve around, and make it join to the bottom. I'm going to go over here, curve around, and make it join to the bottom. Now what you notice is the piece of the pumpkin that's pointed at you, that seems wider, but as it moves away from us, these two sides get a little bit more narrow. So if we make that observation on the pumpkin in real life, we can see the whole thing here. Here we're seeing some of it. Here on this side we're seeing a lot less. So when we add that section, it has to be a lot smaller. I see that that's true on the other side as well. It's also true that they touch at the stem and they curve around to meet at the bottom. So here, I'm going to do that same effect. Touch at the stem, curve around to the bottom, touch at the stem, curve around to the bottom. Then, if I want to, I can add a stem. The stem is a lot like how you would draw a cylinder, so I'm going to give it kind of a round top, and then I'm going to curve and join to the top of the pumpkin there. Now I have my pumpkin. What I need to do next is actually make it look like a pumpkin carriage. So that's where I'm going to add a door. I'm going to add wheels. So you guys saw images that could give you ideas in the page that was before the assignment here. You saw images by other artists. You saw the one from the Walt Disney movie. You saw a sculpture that I did where instead of putting horses in front of the pumpkin carriage, I actually had put like a motor on it. It looked almost like a motorcycle version. So when you're drawing this, you might think, well, maybe I need room for horses over here. Maybe I can't see the horses yet. Maybe the fairy godmother didn't make them. So there's different points of the story you might be telling us based on what you add next.